A young nihilistic rap collective took the internet by storm in 2008 by releasing their first mixtape with lyrics that were lewd, disturbing, and just straight disrespectful. The group was even banned from New Zealand for being a potential threat to public order, as previous insinuations of violence had formed at their shows. These California misfits compared to groups like Raider Clan and ASAP Mob, and were some of the first DIY rappers of the social media age. Odd Future Wolfgang Kill Them All, otherwise known as Odd Future, used the likes of Tumblr and YouTube to kickstart the careers of people like Tyler the Creator, Earl Sweatshirt, and Frank Ocean. Odd Future wanted to prove that being independent and just having fun creating and making content was truly possible.
Introduction to golf worms. Everybody hollering and screaming out Wolfgang. I got Timities, Kennedys, not Tom, but if I was a Tom, I would be Jeffrey.
Odd Future's use of the internet built them a successful and loyal fan base like no other. The intimacy that these photos, videos, and other posts built for Odd Future made it seem like they were real, relatable people that listeners could be friends with. This vulnerability brought a movement of teenage rebellion, as the OF logo gave young kids something to believe in. Being able to elevate such brands as Supreme, as well as their own streetwear, Odd Future took over LA as they challenged the forms set before them by people like Pharrell Williams, Wu-Tang Clan, and NWA. Working as a forum for the collective to find their own identity, not only with music, but with fashion and comedy as well, the Odd Future tape dropped in November of 2008, establishing the characters of people like Haji Beats, Casey Veggies, Left Brain, and Mellow Hype. Other than some real early standout verses for Tyler the Creator, the Odd Future tape was nothing but a couple of kids messing around. Lyrically, the group improved throughout their following releases of Radicals and 12 Odd Future songs, gaining members such as Domo Genesis, Mike G, Earl Sweatshirt, and Frank Ocean in the process. At this point, Odd Future had so much traction in their name. Earl Sweatshirt had dropped his debut mixtape self-titled
Earl.
Tyler had debuted with his first studio album Goblin. Frank Ocean had dropped his mixtape of Nostalgia Ultra, grabbing the attention of Def Jam Records, who he would later finesse for $20 million. The Golfwing brand had exploded onto the market, and Odd Future had signed with Sony and Red to form Odd Future Records in April of 2011. The internet would later form with Sid the Kid and Matt Martians teaming up with some old touring friends that played bass and drums, as well as their guitarist friend Steve Lacy when they dropped Purple Naked Ladies in 2011. The Odd Future Renaissance was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for any teenager in the early 2010s. Their absurdist take on hip-hop and street culture in general turned everything of what it meant to be a rap fan on its head. Coming to an almighty climax of the Odd Future Collective, they released their seemingly last group collaboration, the Odd Future Tape Volume 2. Ranging from serious to satirical, the second studio album has standout moments for people like Frank Ocean, Sid the Kid, and Domo Genesis.
Rent a supercar for a day, drive around with your friends, smoke a gram of that haze. Roll easy on the ounce, that's a lot for a day, just enough for a week. My nigga, what can I say? I'm high and I'm by, wait, I'm straight. I'ma get you the spine, the runner just bought the grapes. My brother, give it some time.
Unfortunately, this would be the last of the Odd Future power trip, as it seemed everyone had moved on to their own thing by 2013. With the release of Domo Genesis' No Idols, Mellow High's Self-Titled, The Internet's Feel Good, among other releases. As fans beg and plead for an Odd Future reunion, Tyler says the chances are 9 out of 7 times gonna be no. Tyler goes on to state,
and honestly, the OF tapes weren't that good. It was just a fun time, but musically, it's like, we could have did better. But for the time, it was tight.
The group themselves didn't have any crazy stats that proclaim them to be more relevant or more important, but it's clear that they had an undeniable impact. A legacy that is truly trailblazing for the younger talents of the internet subculture. They truly proved that anything is possible in the social media age, inspiring people like Kevin Abstract to start an almost second coming of sorts with his boy band Brockhampton. It made friends and loved ones alike come together for a common theme of having fun, even if they were on different paths of life. Tyler told Fader,
"And that's what made me and my friends come together, because we didn't have the same path. Everyone's path was different.
That's why it was sick. You had all these different personalities, bro, and that's...
Even though they might be disbanded right now, everyone in the Odd Future group is finding their own successes far beyond the OF branding. Of course, the more successful members being Tyler, Frank, and Earl, the subgroups of the Internet and Mellow High are finding their own voices on the indie scene. Sid the Kid announced her departure from Odd Future in early 2016, but kept the Internet signed to the OF label. In this, the Internet has had multiple studio releases, with their latest being Hive Mind in 2018. Mellow High, with Domo Genesis, Haji Beats, and Left Brain, however, had their self-titled album in 2013, and as far as solo releases, Left Brain has seemed to stop making music, while Haji Beats has his 2016 album Fireplace, and Domo Genesis has his 2016 Project Genesis, as well as 2018's Facade Records. The big three of Earl Sweatshirt, Frank Ocean, and Tyler the Creator have capitalized on the success and fame that jump-started their early careers. All wanting to tell their own individual stories through the music they create, Frank Ocean thanks the collective for changing his path.
Has Odd Future impacted my career? Absolutely. Absolutely. They've liberated my thinking in some ways, creatively, and in a sense of knowing that you can do a lot of it by yourself, you know.
Frank tries to engage audiences with his personal wisdom and knowledge of life, trying to make a photograph out of something you'll never see. Frank tells stories in his multiple bodies of work, working with people like Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Kanye West, earning a Grammy for Best Urban Contemporary Album with Channel Orange in 2012, and finessing Def Jam Records out of a $20 million deal with Endless and Blonde. Frank Ocean has achieved so much in the littlest amount of time, and fans are impatiently waiting for what he'll do next.
Everyday patches the night up. Oh God, you should match it, it's that KO. No white lighters till I fuck my 28th up.
After dropping his debut mixtape,
Earl,
it seemed that our boy Earl Sweatshirt had just dropped off the face of the earth. Later being revealed that Earl's mother had sent him to boarding school in Samoa for getting in trouble with his friends, Earl Sweatshirt returned from Samoa in early 2012. From there, he went on to release his debut album, Doris. Critics and fans alike praise Earl for his gritty lyricism and storytelling ability on beats like no other.
Too black for the white kids and too white for the blacks. From on the road to cracking locks up off them bicycle racks. I'm indecisive, I'm scatterbrained and I'm frightened at 7. And in them eyes where he hiding all them icicles at.
Finally, the mastermind behind the Golfwang Empire and Odd Future itself, Tyler the Creator, is perhaps one of the most notable creatives in the last decade. On multiple occasions, Tyler has praised the love and support he's gotten since the very beginning. Even though there has been multiple creative directions for the rapper, singer, and songwriter side of Tyler, he seemed to now landed on a more melodic style than ever, with the releases of Flower Boy and even earning a Grammy for the 2019 release Although it seems like the powerhouse movement of Odd Future Wolfgang Kill Them All has come to a close, this collective of rowdy misfit teenagers seem to have made an impact that will last a lifetime.
Look, I was 15 when I first drew that donut. 5 years later for our label, yeah, we own it. I started an empire, I ain't even old enough to drink the fucking beer. I'm tipsy off this soda pop. This is for the niggas in the suburbs and the white kids with nigger friends that say the N-word, and the ones who got called weird fag bitch nerd cause you was in the Jazz Kitty Cats and Steven Spielberg. They say we ain't acting right, always try to turn our fucking color into black and white, but they'll never change them, never understand them. Radical's my anthem, turn my fucking amps up. So instead of critiquing a bitch and being mad as fuck, just admit not only are we talented, we're rad as fuck.